Well, we knew Marvel was just the biggest woke train wreck you could ever imagine. But 2024 has seen them double down into something that's beyond just the typical LGBTQ community. Now they're trying to virtue signal to the, quote, furry community over and over and over again. And I guess I have to explain to most normal people what a furry is. I'm sorry. Let's get into the news. Smash the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things happening in the comic book industry. Of course, I write this on my Fandom Pulse Substack, which you can sign up for in the description below. My name's John Delarose, and I am a comic creator myself, and I am making fun comics like they don't do at Marvel and DC anymore. This is an awesome sci-fi epic adventure of space marines fighting against demonic space monsters that are threatening the Terran Imperium. And I would love for you to come in on this. It is a 66-page full graphic novel on Fund My Comic, which is a free speech platform I'm supporting. And I think you'll love this. If you like classic comics, if you like Marvel the way it was before they destroyed it, if you like that kind of storytelling, I think you'll really enjoy this. We try to do things in that 70s and 80s vibe, which was awesome. That was the really peak era of comics, in my opinion. And we would be honored to have you as customers, and I hope we've earned your support. Go check this out in the description below, and thank you so much for backing our book so far. So, Marvel now has turned Deadpool into a furry, and so... yes, and it's not the first one. We've had a full year of X-Men becoming all furry and furtastic. Yay. Thanks to Tom Brevoort, editor over at the X-Men line. Now, this comes not in an X-Men book, but a book called Chasm Curse of Cain, a book nobody wanted anyway. So if you don't know what's going on in Marvel, Ben Reilly, the Spider clone, came back to life at some point, ended up becoming some character called Chasm, who's like an anti-hero, and they keep trying to push this character as a thing. Nobody wants it. Now, they gave this miniseries to a guy named Steve Fox. Steve Fox is a degenerate weirdo who can't write books whatsoever. Nobody likes any of his books. He's one of the least enjoyed people at Marvel Comics, and they put that guy always on, like, Spider-Verse stuff, like on the side, edge of the Spider-Verse, and random tie-ins that nobody's going to read just because like they need a warm body to kind of fill it in. And so he's on this Chasm thing as they're trying to push this character again. I'm sure it's failing drastically, and nobody wanted to read this. But guess what? They're going to really make it so nobody wanted to read. Now, if you don't know about what's been going on in X-Men in the last few years, they've made things crazy. Here's an image that broke the internet a while back where Nightcrawler's lesbian parents now are seemingly having a baby out of her butt. It was kind of weird, and this is what they did. So they turned Nightcrawler into some lesbian sort of thing. Yay. X-Men's been terrible. Tom Brevoort, who's the editor of X-Men, actually, like, upon the relaunch, started going off saying the message is the premise when it came to X-Men, meaning the message, which of course means extreme leftist LGBTQ identity politics full-time, right? And so we've seen the current X-Men line turned into crazy nonsense. Nothing's worse than the exceptional X-Men, which is like this like Kitty Pryde slice of life where she's just going on her lesbian relationship adventures, which nobody wants. Again, Dazzler is a LGBTQ deal as well. And, of course, it's just been a complete train wreck, this relaunch. They haven't learned anything from what they were doing with Krakoa and the Vida Ayala crap. They're just doubling down on it over and over again. And it seems like Marvel Comics just wants to circle the drain at this point. Very, very weird, but this is what they do. I don't think they actually want their books to sell at this juncture. Now, Gail Simone in her Uncanny X-Men #3 infamously did this with Nightcrawler. And one of the characters that she developed says, "Give me the belt, furry." And of course, Nightcrawler decides to lecture you that furry's not really an insult. I know you mean that to be insulting, he says, but I actually like the furry community, you see. Their parties are magnificent, implying he goes to their weird, degenerate sex parties. So if you don't know what furries are, they're people who buy these giant suits that look like living Care Bears and things like that. They go to these parties and conventions, they dress up, and then they have creepy orgies with each other, mostly men. Having gay stuff in these suits. Very weird. And this is what it's about. They want to push these creepy fetishes into everything. Now it's not enough to like do the gay. Now it's not enough to do the trans. Like, how can we push this even further? Is what Marvel Comics says, and this is what they're doing. So Nightcrawler now is into this. Now, if you remember, Nightcrawler was a Catholic priest, and so they've actually completely bastardized and destroyed the character, removing any of that. And they've done that intentionally, and you know they've done that intentionally because they can't have positive Christian representation in this kind of thing. As much as representation matters, it only goes one direction. They hate Christians. They hate, normal Americans. They hate conservatives. And it shows in everything they do. And they keep getting worse every single year. I can't even imagine reporting on this at this point. You'd figured they'd learn once their sales got into the toilet, but guess what? They don't. The same people are still working at these companies. It's like nobody can get fired. How is Tom Brevoort even still there, being the editor, allowing this kind of stuff? Who knows? Absolutely crazy. And then they just get promoted and they keep cycling through each other. It's like, Dan Slott is no longer at Marvel. Let's pick him up. We're DC Comics. Let's pick up the guy that nobody wanted at Marvel. Maybe it'll work this time. They really are such a bizarre industry. I don't understand it. So in this Curse of Cain Chasm, number 4, a book again nobody wants, and you could see that even the cover art is not something inspiring on this. It gets crazy, and Deadpool and Wolverine show up, and Deadpool gets turned into a fox. Logan, this is a huge opportunity. Surely you've wondered what your life would be like as an anthropomorphized fox, yeah? Huh. I have not, says Wolverine. At least he's not a degenerate. Pity, says Deadpool. Because I promise you, there's a universe around us right now that answers that question with needlessly hot total smoke show anthro foxes. So this is obviously the voice of Steve Fox, who's his name's Fox. Maybe it's not even his real name. Maybe this is who he is. Maybe it's a self-insert Deadpool. That tends to be what happens with these characters. I'm not going to Google that guy to find out. You can do that on your own. But oh my gosh, they're at needlessly hot total smoke shows. That's what Steve Fox is writing, guys. Oh wow. And so it continues, which I'm now realizing a premise that I'm surprisingly into. So there he is with the smirky foxness. This is what Deadpool's into now. So gross. How about that? And this is what they're doing in Marvel Comics right now. They're turning all of your characters into weird sexual fetishes. It's the worst of fan fiction. Like back in the day, all these weird women used to write Star Trek fan fiction, like actually to each other. They'd print them out and photocopies and mail them to each other back in the 70s and 80s, is where all this came from, really. And they do it like where like Kirk and Spock were banging each other because these ladies had these little pornographic fantasies, and that's what it was. And then, of course, the internet came out and people started posting them online, and they'd get popular for that kind of thing. That's how 50 Shades of Grey started. If you don't know, it was a fan fiction of Twilight, where the lady wanted to have Edward and Bella in a BDSM fantasy. So it was a fetish sort of thing. Well, as those got more and more popular for being pornography, like these people seeped into the industry, and they did the exact same thing with everything. So now everything is just fetish fan fiction masquerading as IPs you love. And the weird part is, like, they're held up as like these professionals that don't create anything themselves, but they just turn Deadpool into a furry, and then, he's the person you're supposed to respect as an authority in the industry. It's insane. This is why independent comics are so much better. This is exactly why we do what we do. So as much as these guys want to act like professionals, we're doing the real deal. I got a great compliment from somebody within the industry who read my books the other day, who I really respect. I'm not going to just dox that because I got to not do that here, but I'm just pretty thrilled. The person told me that I'm a wonderful writer and that they appreciate my work, and I appreciate you for saying that if you watch this channel today. And so this is the Emerald Array, and it is a Space Marine graphic novel. It is Space Marines, a full male Space Marine unit, no females as the heroes, and they're fighting demonic space bugs. Very, very just like action-packed stuff, high tea. This is exactly what comics should be, and you'll love it. Grab this in the description below, and thank you for supporting our channel, supporting our work here, guys. You mean a lot to me. I appreciate the customers, and I'll never do something like is being done here. Yikes. Crazy stuff. We'll keep our characters the way they're meant to be from the onset, because I'm going to be writing them myself, and that way we don't have these weird fan fiction writers in on the dole as Marvel does. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.